Hello, everyone, and welcome in. This is your weekend reading for May 11th and 12th. So, if you live in the US, happy Mother's Day weekend for those of you that are celebrating that. Let's go ahead and jump in and see what all messages want to come through. So, I'm going to use that newish format that I started using during the week where I'll be using the dog cards to get a message for the collective in general. And then when I go sign grouping by sign grouping, I'm going to pull a couple cards to see what is the challenge that's coming through for each of the individual sign groupings, and we'll try to see if we can get a more, call it customized reading there. So as always, remember, take only what resonates and leave the rest. If this is not matching up with your storyline, then that means this is a message for somebody else. But if it is resonating, then see what all messages or takeaways are coming through for you for today. And I will be doing some additional types of readings on the channel for this weekend, so make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when those videos post. And I would also welcome any feedback in the comments below about the new format. So let's jump in. Energy for the collective for this weekend. We have the Magician in reverse, Death in reverse, the Hierophant, and the Page of Cups. So the reason I started to laugh is that the Magician in reverse and Death in reverse came out, I can't remember if it was for Thursday or Friday, but I remember it because it was from this deck, and I only started doing those readings a few days ago in this format. So, and obviously I was shuffling very thoroughly. The Magician in reverse and Death in reverse. This is that sense of, with the Magician in reverse, that's about being unappreciated, like your talents are going to waste. People aren't recognizing your contributions, what you bring to the table, just, a lack of appreciation for you and what you're bringing. Then with Death in reverse, it's like this sense of there's something that needs to be let go of, and you're resisting letting go of it. Like you're clinging on to it, even though you're really not feeling appreciated, like you're still clinging on to it. And for some of you, it could be that this is a traditional structure, like a marriage, or if it's a job situation, it could be a very stable job, one that society would deem as a very impressive, important job. So, I'll just throw this out there. If you're, working at some big law firm, but you're being overlooked and you're just clinging on to this job that's working you like a dog, and you're just not feeling it. But, well, society says, oh, that must be a good job. It pays well. It's very stable. So you feel like you have to stay. For some of you, it could be a marriage. It could be this committed relationship, a marriage that you feel like I'm supposed to hold on to it because I've invested so much time in it. For those of you where that type of situation is not the case, this can also be a message that you need to find a mentor or a guru or some sort of a teacher that's going to help you navigate through this energy. Page of Cups energy, this is that kind of like dreamer type of energy, that a little bit of that naivety, the innocence. In the traditional tarot deck, it's the page is holding out a cup that has a single fish in it. I usually equate it to, wouldn't it have been cute if there was like one solitary little dog bone in there? I kind of equate it to, this is like a little gesture. I mean, it's kind of a step in the right direction, but it's like a little gesture. So almost the image that's coming to mind is, your partner really screws up and, say they totally missed your birthday because they were hanging out with their friends, and then, the next day they're supposed to make it up to you, and, oh, sorry, I overslept this morning. Here, I picked a daisy for you. So, yeah, okay, it's nice that they picked a daisy for you, but it's kind of that, that's a very entry-level energy, and that is not what you're needing right now. Like, you need something more, if there was I'll call it a situation that hurt your feelings, or they let you down, they disappointed you, they didn't stand up to their word, they're going to need more than I picked a daisy for you to bridge that gap. So that's kind of the energy overall that's coming out for the collective. let's go ahead and jump in. We will start sign grouping by sign grouping, and let's start with our air signs today. So that is going to be our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And I'll pull 2 cards here about what is the challenge for you right now at this point in time. So it could be for this weekend in particular. It could be the challenge that's been building for the last few days, the one that's coming up that you need to get ready for. So what is the challenge for our air signs, please? Ace of Swords, which is that card about clarity, and 9 of Wands in reverse. So your Ace of Swords is that card about breakthrough and clarity. Your 9 of Wands in reverse is about exhaustion, and there's kind of this sense of stalemate. So especially like the example I used earlier when I was talking about the Page of Cups, if this is a relationship reading for you, kind of that sense of, okay, you missed my birthday and then you blew me off the next day. Fine, maybe you had some weak excuse, but I'm tired of your weak excuses. And I've used this recently. I'm no longer accepting apologies, only changed behavior. And so there's kind of like this exhaustion of this naive energy of you can totally be all over the place, not really concerned about it, and then just say, oh, I'm sorry, and everything's supposed to be fine. So there's a little bit of that sort of energy. And I think this breakthrough clarity is coming in the form of, as you look at a situation like that, and, for some of you, if this is not related to relationships, like I was using a work scenario, if they just keep undervaluing you and underappreciating you, but you keep clinging on to it, like, well, if it was the law firm example, but I'm close to being able to make partner. Maybe I'll make partner and things will change. Maybe I will, kind of having that breakthrough clarity of, but if they don't respect me and value me now, how is that really going to change? So there's a little bit of that breakthrough that's kind of causing you to shift a little bit and say, wait a second, I'm done being unappreciated, feeling, unloved, feeling like my contributions. And so it could be talents, but feeling like my contributions are going unrecognized or, unrewarded is maybe a bad way to say it, because that implies that the only reason you're doing something nice is to get a reward, or the only reason you're showing up the way, I'm not going to say nice. The only reason you're showing up the way you're showing up is because you're trying to milk a situation for all it's worth. And that's not necessarily the case. But how you show up in the world and how you present yourself, maybe, how you are in situations, whether it's at work, whether it's with, your friends, whether it's in romantic partnerships, how you show up is not being appreciated, which means that you're not in the right circle. So that's the key, is when you're in the right circle, those people, whether, like I said, whether they're coworkers, whether they're friends, whether they're romantic partners, when you're in the right situation, they will acknowledge you. They will realize, oh my gosh, like I have this winning lottery ticket here. So I was using that example the other day too. That's like saying, well, I have this winning lottery ticket, but since it's a multi-million-dollar prize, I have to drive down to the office to claim it. I can't just scan it on my phone. And then I'm going to have to pay taxes on it. Yeah, I hate paying taxes. So you're sitting on a winning lottery ticket because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on what are the steps you have to take to claim this winning lottery ticket versus oh my gosh, I won the lottery. So, all right. The card that jumped was the Star card. And let me pull another one because that one jumped. So the Star and the Fool. So the Star card is about hopes. It's like that hopes and dreams and optimism. And then the Fool is that new beginning. So it's kind of like with this Ace of Swords, this clarity of, you know what? No, I'm done being in a situation where I'm not being valued. I'm not being respected. And I don't have to let myself just keep circling the drain over there. I want to set a different vision. I want to set, I want, with breakthrough and clarity, kind of like new. I want something new that's going to make me feel fulfilled. And so you have also this energy of hope and optimism that does exist for you, which is good. So even if a situation is tough, don't think, well, that's the best I deserve, because that's low vibe thinking. So from an energetic standpoint, if you can look at that and say, you know what, but I don't deserve that. I know that there's a soul tribe out there that gets me, that will appreciate me, that will help you tremendously in terms of finding that new start, finding that new path for you. Believe in the impossible. And with that, believing in the impossible, maybe you've had a run of bad jobs where you just constantly feel like you're being dumped on at work, and it's easy to get jaded. But this belief in the impossible, no, the dream job is out there. You just have to find it. Or if it's relationship wise, of thinking, well, but I guess this is my lot in life. I keep attracting the wrong kind of person and end up in unfulfilling relationships. Believe in the impossible, that something right is out there for you, that this is all part of your lessons. If not now, when? This is that card of what are you waiting for? Like, why are you waiting for something else to happen? If you have been asking the universe for signs, now pay attention to what you're seeing in your reality. It's kind of that whole thing. And I love it. If you haven't seen it, it's called The Man with Two Brains. It's a Steve Martin movie from the 80s. And there's this scene, you can look it up on YouTube. Maybe I don't know if I can link it below, but if you Google The Man with Two Brains, give me a sign, it's hilarious. He's talking to a painting of his deceased wife, and he's starting to have feelings for this other woman. And he's like, just, if my feelings for Dolores are wrong, just give me a sign, any sign. And the painting starts shaking. It's like, no, and it starts spinning around. And all of a sudden there's like crazy wind. I mean, this is totally 80s style. And the lights are flickering, and like one of the lights kind of falls off the wall. And so it does that for like 30 seconds. And then the wind dies down. The no stops. And he's like, just any sign. I'll keep my eye open for it. And it's kind of like that. Like, if you've been asking the universe for signs, listen, look for those signs, and don't just say, well, okay, but I'm going to ask for another sign. Well, I'm going to ask for another one. Well, I'm going to ask for another one. And you're sitting there like 20 signs later going, universe, can you give me a sign? Like, they're giving you signs. So this is the crumbling. What are you clinging on to? This is kind of like the Tower card in this light workers deck. And I mean, it even looks like the Tower, essentially, as it's portrayed in many decks. So the crumbling, what are you clinging to? What is it that, you don't want to let go of, even though it's leaving you feeling depleted? It's leaving you feeling like you've been taken for granted. What is it that you're holding on to? But even part of the important question from a healing perspective is, why are you holding on to it? So it's not enough just to identify that you are holding on to it. You have to figure out why you're holding on to it, and really do a lot of soul searching, because once you can heal that as to why you continue to hold on to something that doesn't serve you, then you can really step into your light. So that's your challenge for this weekend. That's what you're being called to look at, is why are you holding on to something that doesn't serve you? So, air signs, that is your message for this weekend. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend and can get some time out in nature. That does wonders in terms of going for walks and all of that. So I hope you have a blessed weekend, and we will see you next week. All right, now we are on to our fire signs. Let's see what messages want to come through for our fire signs. That is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Oh my gosh, that was a ton. So the one that stayed on my lap was... Okay, so that wasn't as many as I thought. So we'll take a look at those, and then I'll draw one, because I like to have at least one drawn card. We have the Lovers, so there's a choice. Your Seven of Pentacles card, which is going to be about growth and reward. And these, it's, since they all kind of fell on the floor, it's hard to tell whether they were in the upright or whether they were in the reverse. So we'll kind of take a look at both. We have 10 of Wands, 2 of Swords. So our 10 of Wands it's kind of like the same both ways, and a little bit the same with your 2 of Swords. So your 2 of Swords is there's a decision that needs to be made. You kind of have this sense of split loyalties. Do I do this? Do I do that? Like, what should I do? There's kind of a sense of, confusion. And like I said, because both of these cards read pretty similar, upright or inverted, I'm just kind of talking general about both reads of them. But essentially there's, some choice to make. And the Lover's card is also about a choice. It can be, the Lover's card can truly just be about, oh, you're going to have this wonderful, loving, blissful experience. But it's also about a choice. It's also about balancing the masculine and the feminine energies. It could be related to a Gemini, because Lovers is the Gemini card. But your 2 of Swords is like, you have this decision that you want to make. And with her, and I've noticed this different from some other decks, but with her, she's blindfolded, which she is in most of the decks, but she is very clearly looking in one direction as opposed to the other. And most of the time in the decks, the figure is looking straight forward and has the swords like this. In this deck, she's very distinctly looking in one direction. So it's almost like there's a sense of, that there's this decision you need to make. You kind of know what direction you need to go, but it's like you're putting on a blindfold. Like, I don't want to see the other side. I don't want to see what this other direction is. I'm just going to focus all my energy this way, even though there's totally another option over here. And with this, since there's a fork and a knife, it's almost like, since a lot of times the knife is related to, it looks like a sword. So sword is your thoughts. It's almost like there's a certain thought process that you just don't even want to acknowledge. You just want to stare at the forks. And you don't want to acknowledge the thought process that's happening over there. With our 10 of Wands in reverse, this has to do with stress and burnout. You're really struggling. You're overburdened. Sometimes in the upright, it's a little bit more of like, hey, you've put in the hard work. You're getting so close to the end. In the reverse, it's almost kind of like, now you've just totally collapsed under the weight of these wands. But either way, it has to do with a lot of like stress, burnout, exhaustion, overburdened. And so the one that's being pulled is death in reverse. Oh my goodness. So I have to laugh. Death in reverse is doubled up for our fire signs. That means that for you, this is a really, really clear message. You are holding on to something that you shouldn't be holding on to. And, the death card is about something is coming to an end, but then there's a new beginning on the heels of that. It's like there's a rebirth that's happening, and you are not allowing that rebirth to happen because you're clinging for dear life to a ship that's sinking, and you need to get off the ship that's sinking. And, from a clarity standpoint, it's almost like if the fork is the ship that's sinking, nope, this is the ship. I said I was going to be on the ship, and by God, I'm going down with the ship. Even though from a clarity perspective, like thoughts and clarity, like, hey, there's a lifeboat that's sitting right next to the ship. No, I'm looking at the ship. So there's a sense of that you're undervalued and feeling unappreciated and unloved in a situation that you're in, but you're still clinging to it. And you really need to call in, so for some of you, again, this card can be related to you are clinging to a marriage or a business situation that needs to be done, but you're still clinging for dear life to it. And it's like you don't want to make any major steps. It's like you want to just you're in this dreamer energy of what would life be like if things were different? What would life be like, if I took this sword route? I'm not going to look at it, but I'm going to think about it. But in order to get these rewards and benefits, and actually, when you look at these two side by side, she's looking away from the benefits and the rewards that are there. So it's almost like when you look at the way these all line up in terms of how the cards fell. So we have the Lovers, then we have the Seven of Pentacles, and then we have the Two of Swords. It's almost like, since she's looking this way towards the fork and not looking at all the stuff behind her, there is a decision that can bring you lots of rewards, and it could be a romantic situation. But no, I'm going to look the other way. I'm going to look the other way. So that message is definitely coming through for fire signs. Let's pull a few cards and see what oracle messages are coming through. Communication is key. And this is new moon in Gemini. So there's some more Gemini energy coming through. I don't remember when the new moon in Gemini is, since it usually starts in the sign, I believe. Gemini season is coming up here within the next couple of weeks. Starts, I don't know, sometime between, I'll call it the 22nd and the 25th of May. So that's coming up here soon. So communication is key. And if you're trying to figure some of this out, you need to be communicating about it. Sorry, a couple little glitches there. So communication is key for you as you try to navigate through this. Now let's pull another oracle card here. And it says, shut down that toxic positivity. Now this is, especially as it relates to this Two of Swords energy, sometimes there's this sense of, positivity is good. Like, you don't want to sit there and just like wallow in, oh my gosh, everything is terrible. But at the same time, this toxic positivity is kind of that sense of, if you're feeling unappreciated and you're feeling like you're being taken advantage of or taken for granted, a lot of that is going to be this toxic positivity of, well, but that's fine. For example, the message of, but I'm in control of my own experience, so I'm just going to sit in the present moment and I'm going to ignore all of this other stuff that's happened. And this is almost, this toxic positivity, it's almost kind of like that, let's just sweep it all under the rug and everything is fine. Everything is fine. It's fine. We swept it under the rug and we're going to look away. That's the type of toxic positivity that I'm talking about. So that sometimes will happen in situations where you're being mistreated. If you are in a toxic, abusive situation, please, please, please reach out for help. Reach out for a teacher, a guru, somebody, a counselor, a therapist, somebody who can help you. But don't let yourself sit in that energy of, nope, but I'm totally in control of the way I feel, so I just need to shut out what's not working for me. It's kind of like, emotionally, when you have these periods of, I'll call it breakdown, whatever, that's like your body's response. If you're sensing pain, like legit serious pain in your body, that is your body's way of telling you there is something wrong. Like internally there's something wrong, or there is an outside stimulus that is hurting you. Like if you get stabbed, you're going to feel pain because that's your body's way of saying, oh my God, this is not working, or like, especially with a burn, like when you get burned, you register it as pain so that you move away from it because it's damaging your body. The same is kind of true on a mental standpoint. So yeah, that toxic positivity, be careful of that because it can sneak up on you and prevent you from having soul growth because, sometimes people kind of be like, toxic positivity. And it's like, yeah, if you're clinging to something that's unhealthy and it's hindering your growth and hindering your development, that is not a good thing. So, alrighty. And last card to pull here is Awakening. Energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. So this is beautiful. This is, I'll call it in a reading that was heavy, kind of like the universe grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. This is the beautiful cathartic moment at the end of awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, and integration. How do you take these lessons that are coming through here, how do you take them, integrate them, and then get that new way of being out of it? So you don't have to be like this. You don't have to sit here in this sort of energy. And the energetic upgrades that you're getting, the awakening that you're getting, is really going to help you move forward. It's really going to help you find that new way of being, and it's going to infuse energy into your situation as well. So that's what you need to look for this weekend, fire signs. Definitely spend some time really connecting with yourself and looking at, if you're in this situation where you just keep sitting here focusing on the stress, focusing on the burnout, like you're turning your back on the energy that's the good rewards energy that wants to come in, and instead you're focusing your energy on the situation that's stressing you, burning you out, and feeling like, oh my gosh, like that's where you're turning and focusing your energy. So you need to sit and think about that. Think about, why is it that you're doing that? Why are you letting yourself continue to focus all of your efforts in the direction here of the situation that's burning you out, of the situation that is not good, the situation that's this magician in reverse, that's like leaving you feeling like you're being unappreciated, you're being taken for granted. What toxic positivity are you telling yourself in order to keep yourself in this scenario? And the important part there is, how do you let that go? How do you let this awakening come in? How do you let this new energy come in and flow through you to bring you a more positive result there? So that is the message for our fire signs, our Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And next, oh, you know what? I forgot to pull one of these. So not quite done yet with our fire signs. The Devil in reverse. So the devil energy is anything that's keeping you stuck in these looping cycles. So for you, it's going to be, some of it is this toxic positivity is what's keeping you stuck in these cycles. Now, remember, like I was saying with toxic positivity, that oftentimes is a mask for underlying trauma of, or being scared that, no, I can't make this other choice. I can't move on. I can't do something different. So that's that devil energy. That's what you need to break free of. And look at those purples in there. That is part of your awakening. The purples in here are matching with the purples behind Lore. Now, this one in this deck, the devil energy is Lore. His twin brother is Data, who's the Fool. So this is the other side of that, is once you can break free from this devil energy, then you can get into that new beginning. Then you can take that leap of faith. You can get that fresh new start once you break free from this devil energy. And like I said, the devil energy is anything that keeps you off your path. So make sure that in order to break free from that devil energy, you need to turn towards it. You need to recognize what it is and then stand up to it. So stop turning away from it and letting it just push you down the road. You need to turn into it and put a stop to it. All right, that was our energy for our fire signs. I hope that was a helpful reading for you for this weekend. So do some pondering on that, do some meditating and think about that. And as always, I take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. But I wish you peace and joy along your journey, fire signs, and we will see you next week. All right, so that was for our fire signs. Now we are on to our earth signs. So earth signs, let's take a look and see what all messages want to come through for you for this weekend in the challenge space for you. Your challenge here, oh my goodness, the cards this weekend are jumping like crazy. So the ones that came up for you, I'll go through them one by one. We have the 10 of Swords in reverse, 10 of Cups, Justice, and Knight of Pentacles. So in the challenge space, your challenge is to be able to find the 10 of Cups is that kind of like happily ever after, domestic bliss and harmony. Your 10 of Swords in reverse is turning a corner and learning lessons. So for you, the challenge is turning that corner. Also in the challenge space with the Justice and the Knight of Pentacles. So your Knight of Pentacles energy is going to be this hard work and patience And then justice is allowing these weird and imbalanced situations. So I usually, when I do reads and there's jump cards, I like to have an actual pulled card as well. So even though this is kind of crazy that I have all of these, your pulled card is the Four of Cups. So this is kind of this apathy and gloom type of feeling, resisting this cup that's come in because you know what, there's all these other empty cups and I'm just kind of jaded. You know, I feel like jaded is coming through as a strong word. It's coming in some of the other ones as well. So you're feeling jaded because you're unappreciated. They've already, this situation, whether it's a work situation, whether it's a romantic situation, has already drained 3 of your 4 cups and leaving you feeling unappreciated. And so for you, earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, for you, the challenge is how do you move out of that energy? How do you move past this sense or, you know, this turning a corner? Like something wants to come in, but it again, with the 10 of Swords and then death in reverse, it's like you're clinging to a situation that isn't serving you. So the challenge is how do you allow those new changes to come in? How do you allow something positive to come into your life? How do you allow justice to come in and balance the scales and not keep focusing on whatever this bad situation is that has pulled you so far out of alignment? Oh, I forgot. I had still left the fire sign card on their stack because I do put the major arcana cards back in for the shuffle, but the other cards stay out. All right, so earth signs. The Hierophant. All right, so the Hierophant has doubled up for our earth signs. That is that traditional inside of the box thinking. It also is about, it can be about finding a guru, a teacher, a mentor. So all of this challenge is surrounding this traditional structure, this inside of the box thinking. And that inside the box thinking is what has kept you in that feeling of being unappreciated. So let's pull some additional cards and see what all other messages want to come through. It's time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio. I think we just had our full moon in Scorpio. I believe that was the one that just happened. And so, yes, that's about releasing negativity. It's about letting, you know, you're clinging for dear life to something that isn't serving you. It is time to release that. Even if it's something that is, you know, society would say, you should hold on to that. You should hold on to that. If it's not serving you, don't. Don't hold on to it just because you think that society thinks that you should. All right, well, let's pull one of these for our earth signs and see what messages are coming through here for you. That Tower is protecting you. So something that really, you know, in your challenge space, your challenge was about like turning a corner and learning your lesson. And that is definitely related to this tower that is going to come in. If you continue to cling for dear life to something that's not serving you, this tower is coming in to say, hey, you need to turn this corner. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. But remember, when it's a tower situation, you have far less control over that flow, over that outcome, as you do when you simply lean in and take the death card as it is. So your resistance to letting these changes happen, letting this growth and this rebirth happen, the consequences to that is going to be a tower. So overall, the tower is going to be good for you, but it's that whole sense of, you know, when a building has been condemned, oftentimes, like depending on the situation, I guess, they go in and they will raise the building and demolish it because you can do a controlled explosion, like you can do a controlled crumbling and destruction of that building versus if you just let it sit there and just kind of, okay, well, you know, don't really want to deal with it. Let's just pretend that that building is fine. It's going to cause so many more problems. So that's why they go in and they have the people that do the controlled demolition, you know, where they collapse the building and clean it up so that something worse doesn't happen. And that's kind of like what the message of that tower is protecting you, is trying to tell you, like, you need to have that tower moment. Okay, the jump card there was mirror. Who or what is triggering you? And then the next one was align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? There's absolutely something in here that is not aligned, and you are being pushed to change it, even though you don't want to. And then with this mirror, who or what is triggering you? What is it that you keep going round and round on? How come you can't break out of this cycle? So this feeling of I'm being unappreciated, but I'm still clinging to it. I'm feeling unloved and not really valued, but I'm still clinging. The important part of that, it's not enough to just acknowledge that that's happening. The important part of that is to discover and dig deep as to why is that the case. And with you, as you look at this mirror and say, okay, that person or that situation is triggering me. What is it trying to show me? And sometimes it's not a big grand message. It's just the message is you need to do something different. You need to move on from it. So it's not necessarily like, how do I stay but remold myself to fit into this scenario? Sometimes part of the mirror is to say, you need to get out of that situation. So that's the message that is coming through for our earth sign. So like I said, for this weekend, the big push is going to be looking at what is not aligned or needs to change. And it's time to release it. Whatever it is that is not aligned and needs to change needs to be released for your highest good. Otherwise, you're just going to keep looping. You're just going to keep doing the same cycles over and over and over again. So, and for our earth signs, as I always say, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. And I will be posting some additional videos this weekend, so make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when those post. Otherwise, I wish you peace and joy along your journey for our earth signs, and I will see you next week. So last but not least, we have our water signs, and that is going to be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Let's see what is in the challenge space for our Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. As I've been shuffling for the challenges, the cards have been jumping all over the place. I had 4 cards jump for fire signs and for earth signs. I think I had a couple jump, or maybe 1 jump for air signs. So we'll see. Apparently there's big messages coming in there. All right. Since apparently my shuffling was better, I'll pull a couple here for you. Ace of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles in reverse, and the Tower. All right then. So your Ace of Pentacles, this is about new opportunities and a new start. This 4 of Pentacles in reverse, if you watch the channel regularly on the daily reads, we went through a very, very long spell of getting 4 of Pentacles in reverse almost every single day for like 2 weeks. And that card is, particularly in this deck, in my reads and interpretations of it, the 4 of Pentacles is about where are you overextending yourself from a resource standpoint, and you're not being filled. So this is like overgiving. This is overcommitting your time, your energy, sometimes your money, because remember, Pentacles are your resources. So that's not just financial, it's also time, energy, and money. So money kind of becomes the most universal, easiest, most simplified method of energy exchange. But it really is about your energy, your time and your energy and your resources like that. So where is it that you're giving, but you're overgiving? So that is part of that is the overgiving, and you're not being appreciated. You feel unloved. You feel like your efforts and energy are going to waste because they're not acknowledging your efforts and energy. It's not refilling your bucket. It's just leaving you feeling like, oh, awesome. This is great. And so remember this, and this can be in like a job situation. Maybe you're the person that stays late all the time. You're going over and above. And, you know, so-and-so 3 desks down ends up getting the promotion because people are like, oh, but aren't they so great? And you're sitting here going, wait a second. I'm the one that's working my butt off. I'm the one that got that project, that presentation ready. I'm the one that helped us land that big new account. Okay. You know, and so you just keep, so that's kind of that, you know, you're giving and giving of your energy and your resources, but you're not really feeling appreciated. And so some of that, as we talk about like new, kind of like this new beginnings with this Ace of Pentacles, this prosperity and this new opportunities is, you're clinging to something that's not serving you and that's keeping you out of these new opportunities. With the Tower, remember, that is going to be that card of, you know, a massive change coming through that is really necessary in order to rebalance things for you. You're desperately clinging to something that should actually be falling. It's something that needs to go in order to make room for you to grow. But by clinging to it, you are, you know, you're prolonging getting your blessings to come in. So, you know, and I think the challenge for you, water signs, is going to be when you get back this Page of Cups energy from this situation. I guess you can't see that from this situation here, like where you've been feeling unloved, unappreciated. If they start giving, whether that's relationship, job, friendship, if they start giving you the Page of Cups energy, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to be, oh, yay, finally, you know? So if it was a work situation, okay, you've been working, you know, 20 hours extra a week. And if their recognition of that is, oh, hey, you can leave 2 hours early on Friday. Or you know, your first response might be, oh, great, I get to leave early. But then, you know, really think about it. From a Page of Cups standpoint, that's a pretty weak offer. You know, like, hey, I worked 20 extra hours, and so you're going to give me 2 hours extra time off 1 week? It's not really very fair. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a naive offer on their part to think that they can give so little and expect such dedication back. And if it's a relationship standpoint, you know, that's kind of like, oh, you know, you've made promises that you haven't kept over and over again, left me disappointed, but, you know, so then you're just going to show up and be like, oh, hey, you know, I'll just give you a nice big hug and apologize. Okay, thank you for the hug and the apology, but like, what are you going to do to change this? Like, what are you going to do, you know, to, you know, make it better? You know, even more dramatic example, if your spouse cheated on you and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, here, I got you your favorite candy bar at the grocery store or the gas station when I filled up the car. Okay, well, that's nice that you got me my favorite candy bar, but you cheated on me, so that's not really quite a fair exchange. So be mindful of, and I'm not saying that that's the story that's coming through in terms of, you know, that I think that is happening, but you're being unappreciated. So make sure that if somebody or some situation tries to make it seem like, oh, we're sorry that we've been overlooking you, make sure that they're not breadcrumbing you as a way to try to smooth things over, because there is this Tower energy that's coming through for you, and it could just be that the whole situation needs to go, water signs. So let's pull from here. Oh, okay, that was like 4 cards, and out of the major arcana, there's only 22, so that's percentage-wise too many of those. Let's keep shuffling. Okay. So we have Justice, and this is about finding that balance. Like, what is fair? What is right? What is equal? Like, you're looking for that sense of balance. So again, kind of like if you've been giving, you know, you're working 20 extra hours a week, giving you 2 hours of paid time off is not appropriate compensation for the 20 hours of uncompensated overtime that you worked. So making sure that you're looking for that justice. So for you, you know, like I said, this is what's in the challenge space. So the challenge is that you continue to overgive, and you know, there may be new opportunities for you to overgive, and the challenge there is is that really what you need to do? Or do you need to let that tower come through and like level things so that you can sit in this energy of justice, so that you can sit in that fair energy. All right. That one jumped. So we'll take that one. A new romantic cycle begins. And then I'll pull one since that was a jumper card. And that one jumped as well. Have faith in your dreams. And luck is on your side. So have faith in your dreams and luck is on your side. That is that reminder of, make sure you're keeping yourself in a good mindset of things are working out for me. This is happening for me. Not this is happening to me. This is happening for me. And for some of you, I've been using like a work example here in terms of what you're desperately clinging to that needs to go. A new romantic cycle begins. For some of you, this is a relationship that you're clinging to, an unfulfilling, imbalanced relationship. And it may not even be like this terribly toxic, horribly abusive, it may not even be that terrible, but it's unfulfilling and imbalanced, and you're desperately clinging to it. And it's like, why? So for some of you, this tower, it could be totally out with the old person, in with somebody new, or the tower can also be massive re-leveling of the playing field. So it could be a massive argument, discussion, whatever of, no, this is not going to happen, like whatever your belief structure is. So towers can also be belief structures. And especially if you initiate it, it's easier when you're initiating it to be able to guide it into that direction of justice that you're looking for, as opposed to waiting till the other person brings it up or some outside situation. So that's your challenge, is how do you push that tower over in the direction you want it to go? You're being a lumberjack and you're trying to fell a tree, and you need to put the cuts in it just right. Otherwise, who knows where the tree's going to go. All right. You are closer to your goals than you think. And this is the have faith in your dreams and luck is on your side. So you're getting closer. And this may not be brand new energy to you. Like I said, this had come up in the reads. It was either Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which. The Magician in reverse, Death in reverse. This energy could have been building for a little while for you. And so you're closer to that goal than you think. Just make sure from, in the challenge perspective, make sure you're not overgiving. You kind of need to pause that and watch the scene unfold and see how things are going. Then get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. For some of you that are, empaths or highly sensitive in particular, make sure this weekend you're connecting with nature. Hopefully wherever you are, it's nice out. It's a beautiful sunny Saturday morning. So definitely be looking to spend some time outdoors. And like I said, if you're in the United States, it's Mother's Day weekend. So if that's applicable or resonating with you, maybe it's a good opportunity to be outside doing some gardening, things like that. But get grounded and really connect with nature. And that a lot of times will help pull your focus away from whatever these other interactions are that are leaving you feeling unrewarded. And it'll let you connect with something, connect with the divine a little bit better in that setting. So that was the message here for our water signs. As I said, really take a look at, the big message for all the signs when I get to the very end and I'm wrapping it up is ask yourself why you're holding on to something that is leaving you unfulfilled. And can you feel comfortable with letting that tower happen? With pull back your energy, let that tower happen, and have faith in the divine that things are working out for you, that things are unfolding the way they need to be. So as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. I'll be doing some additional readings this weekend, so make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when those post. Otherwise, I will see you next week, water signs, and I wish you peace and joy along your journey.